Welcome back. My name is Jacob, aka Star Wars Collective, and this is the Hyperspace Hangout episode number 22. I am joined today with a very special guest. You know him from the world of Carbonites. He's the owner, the man, the myth, the legend, Vincent. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jacob. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
You are so welcome, man. Thanks for carving out a little bit of time to hang out with us on a Thursday night. Greatly appreciate it. It's so nice to officially meet you, by the way, and been a big fan of your work. And it's just such a pleasure to finally have you on the show. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really cool to be in the chat certain nights and then actually be here in the flesh, so to speak. So I think you're an amazing guy. I really enjoy your videos. And we did a little collaboration back in September where you reviewed a case of Carbonites. And I think you said you had those handy, right?
I sure do, my friend. I sure do. That would be the Bounty Hunters pack with Dengar Bosk, IG-88, Boba Fett, and then Forlom and Zuckuss, of course. Can't forget those two guys. So this set is wonderful. I highly recommend picking it up if you haven't already to support Carbonites. And if for some reason The Empire Strikes Back isn't your jam, he has a plethora of other Carbonites to choose from. And I'm actually very excited to give you guys a little bit of a preview tonight. Vincent and I are going to show you what he's been working on. He's got a couple new things in the cooking up in the kitchen. So
There we go.
yeah, man, it should be a blast. So thank you to those who are tuning in while the stream is live. Also, much gratitude to those who are catching the replay. And if you can, like the video, it helps us greatly in the algorithm so other people can check out the channel. So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and check into our chat and say what's up to our friends that make our show possible. We couldn't do it without their support. We got our friend GXB, Gen X Brian. He says he's in the firehouse tonight, but I'll try to catch the tail end or the replay. Well, thank you, GXB. Thank you so much. Always good to see you, man. Hope you're having a safe night over there fighting fires.
Absolutely.
We got Eric, aka Galactic Artisan Customs, in the building. He says, buckle up for the carbonite of your life.
Hopefully we don't put you to carbon sleep tonight. So
right? Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
We have a good show. We'll keep you nice and entertained here. We have Starscream 0625. I is ready. I is ready. Indeed. Thank you for being here, Starscream. Really means a lot.
Absolutely.
Oh, speaking of Carbonites, I know that guy. He says, thank you all for joining us. Appreciate that, Vincent.
I had one of the Ognaughts type that message for me. I don't pay.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Little minions, the Ugnaughts.
Right.
And then we got Mom in the building. Hello, Mom. Hope you're having a good night. Thank you so much for checking out the show. She says, nice to meet you, Vincent. I love your work. Yes, she does love the Carbonite. She's a fan.
I'm so happy that you shared it with her. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Had to do it. She's a big supporter of the friends of the show. So
how cool.
Yeah. So yeah, episode 22 featuring Carbonites. Let's get the banner going. Let's get a little bit of background music going here. Sure. And yeah, man. So Carbonites, let's go ahead and hop over to your Instagram so that we can take a look at your page, because let's first start off with, man, you got a total of 3,000, almost 3,200 followers on Instagram. That is honestly very impressive. But yeah, so Vincent is the owner of Carbonites, everyone. They are carbon copies of your favorite Star Wars characters. He has so many different cases. Actually, there's over 81 to collect with 486, almost 500 characters to choose from overall. So really interesting thing. Carbonites. Now, Vincent, what was your initial kind of concept for Carbonites? How did you come up with that, man? I'm really interested, and I'm sure people of the show are interested as well.
Great question. So I grew up with Galactic Heroes. Is that a line that you're familiar with?
I'm not familiar with Galactic Heroes, no.
Okay, so Galactic Heroes, they sold them in 2-packs. They were made by Hasbro. And as a child, I grew obsessed with the character pairings. I loved how the two characters that would come in a package, sometimes they were two good guys, two bad guys. Oftentimes it was one good guy, one bad guy. And I just so enjoyed the pairings, and they were just so easy to collect. But you know, as I feel like a collector would say, there's always a character or two that's missing. An infamous example with the Galactic Heroes line is Delta Squad. They made Boss, they made Fixer, but they never did Seven Scorch. So
Really interesting.
yeah, so as a kid, we had these Jenga blocks and we never really played with them. They were kind of there. And one of these days I had the Sharpies out on the table. I was 11 years old at the time. And my mom's like, hey, draw the characters you want, on these Jenga blocks. And these would be like your little figurines. And I just thought that was really cool as a kid. So I went to town and a whole summer was just drawing on Jenga blocks, all ththese different characters from Plo Koon to Embo. And some of those characters did exist in Galactic Heroes form and others didn't. Some I just wanted to draw because, I loved Plo Koon.
Yeah.
So from there, the Jenga blocks, I stored them away, moved on to other summer projects as the years would continue. But it was over COVID that I rediscovered these things as I was going through all my old stuff. And yeah, I fell in love with them all over again. Clone Wars Season 7 was airing at the time. There was no merch for Clone Wars Season 7, anything at that time. Now it's like, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
So I went right back to work on those Jenga blocks and I drew up more characters, and then it just kept growing from there.
Wow, that's honestly fascinating. Sounds like mom had a little inspiration in the creation of, I guess, Carbonites in a way. Having you, yeah, that's. I just love that. I think that's so wholesome. And so over COVID, you were able to, maybe had some extra time to go through some old stuff, and the stars just happened to align for you to find those. And now, as soon as you found them again, did you instantly know, like, oh my gosh, I want to do something more with these? Or did it kind of trickle in over time, the ideas for Carbonites?
Yeah, that's another good question. So I was in college during this period of time, but I moved back home due to COVID. They sent pretty much everybody away, go back to your home place and do online classes. So that was obviously a very interesting period for everybody in the world. And for myself, it was just finding those little joys during uncertain times. And those Jenga blocks did it for me. So they made their way onto my desk. And then about a few months later, with my program, we do 5 co-op rotations. Co-ops are essentially internships. Mm-hmm. And job market was really tough during COVID, as a lot of people know. And also my skills as a designer, I don't think I was there yet. I was only like a semester into college at this point in time, semester and a half. Yeah. So truthfully, I couldn't find an internship. So I was tasked with creating an upskilling course for myself. And what that looked like is just, how can I continue to sharpen my design skills? So what I started doing is I took the Jenga blocks, took them into Photoshop and Illustrator, created nets that are very similar, started doing them on paper where they can fold up. And then after a while, I was like, I'm really liking these. What if I make these onto decals and then I get new wood that's better than the Jenga block wood, and I make these figurines and take a more commercialized approach. So that's how it started from there.
Wow, that is fascinating, man. Now, I'm sure the question that a lot of people are wondering is, where did you source the new wood from?
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at first I started doing the whole Home Depot thing and I was slicing it myself.
Wow.
And then it just wasn't after a point in time, it just was not very consistent. So then, truthfully, I started buying some off of Amazon, among other online retailers where they were pre-cut. The thing is, though, I couldn't find pre-cut wood that was 1x1x2, which is the dimensions of what a Carbonite are. This is our mascot right here. So that led me to start buying 1x1x1 cubes. So like within this Carbonite right here, you can't see it, but there's actually 2 wooden blocks in there. But the cool thing is that that wood was also just after looking at it for over a year, I was like, man, this is still inconsistent. So I decided to move towards 3D printed cores. And what you're seeing here is a product that is a lot more consistent, a lot more stable, a lot more stackable as well. And I can oversee the production from my own little freezing chamber. I don't have to outsource anything anymore and worry about something being a quarter of an inch off or sliced diagonally, even at a 5% angle.
Yeah.
Being able to have these now be plastic, and I make them all here, and it's just led to such a better product. I mean, when you held up the Carbonite Hunters, all 6 of them, they're very consistent across the top. And that's something that I can guarantee you wouldn't have felt with the wood product. And ultimately with Carbonites, I want to be as consistent as possible. That's kind of, I guess, where I'm a little OCD and how I like my collectibles to never change, always have a very consistent style. So everything feels like it blends in together. So this was certainly the move that I wanted to make, and I'm happy I did.
That is fantastic to hear. I don't own unless maybe this is a relic of the Carbonite's past. Is this one of the wood blocks, or is this a 3D printed Han?
So that one would also be 3D printed.
Okay. So you've fully gotten rid of all the wood stuff. That's just what's left on your website, perhaps?
Correct. Yeah, there's a few that I kept, for myself for personal reasons. I think it's cool to be my own little, to have my own little museum of the ones of days past. But yeah, and the reception so far has been really good. My biggest concern is, can somebody crush one of these in their hands? Like if they really go at it hard enough, white knuckle and all, will it break? And thankfully, there hasn't been any signs of that yet. I've even had a few friends stand on them before. There's some funny videos with that, and they are still standing.
That is awesome. So they not only do they look cool, but they are durable as well. So you don't have to worry about it taking a fall off your shelf, smacking on the floor, splintering into a bunch of pieces. No, this thing is going to stand the test of time, and I love it. I think that's so cool. Now I know you had a little bit of, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a little bit of help with from Hybrid Toy Reviews in the printing process. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm happy that you shouted them out there. Yes,
shout out Hybrid
Toy Reviews. It was a nice collaboration. I didn't know anything about 3D printing, maybe just a few things. And I was on the phone with him one night talking about how can I make a better product. And at this point, he had probably reviewed Carbonites at least 4 to 5 times because he's been a very big supporter of mine. And through that, we've also become pretty good friends, which I couldn't be happier about. And he said, instead of trying to find somebody who would, make a mold for you to print these and you buy them in bulk, he's like, what about 3D printing? And I go, because the last time I've ever checked in with 3D printing, I don't feel like the technology was there yet. And I feel like just in a short amount of time, 3D printing has it has boomed and the technology is just so seamless. And I'm like, yeah, that's a really good idea. So he pointed me in the direction of which model I should go with. And he's just been a great guide through all of this. So I owe him a humongous thank you and just the utmost gratitude to getting me towards a better product.
Wow, that is pretty cool. The Wizard Hybrid coming out and showing what he can do. That's a great idea, first off. So again, shout out to Hybrid and to you guys for making, this come to fruition. I'm really stoked about the 3D printing. I don't 3D print myself, but I do like to paint like 3D printed figures. I think that's a lot of fun. I don't really see myself getting into it, but I mean, just look what you can do with the 3D printer now and really improve on what you've already created with which, I mean, that's what every business wants to do at the end of the day. So that's wonderful, man. Now, let's see. So this is a picture of you here. It says, I should probably share my screen before I jump over to that.
I'm impressed. You have all this preloaded. Good for you.
Let's see, share screen. There we go. Okay, so Carbonites are officially back and will be open for business. Secure your case today at the link in our bio. So this was about a year ago, 52 weeks ago. Did you close down for a little bit? Were you kind of doing a little Carbonites remodel about a year ago this time?
Yeah, great question. So Going back all the way to COVID, I guess. So I decided to take on Carbonites and make it be a semester-long project to fill that internship, period. And then when that was over, I always worked on Carbonites, but it was a very part-time. It was homework always came first, Carbonites came second. I was balancing another job at the time as well, plus classes. So, it didn't really see a ton of action. There were Carbonites to be had, but it wasn't consistent releases. So once I had graduated, I was finally at a place where I feel like I could really commit to Carbonites. I can, there's no more homework, thank goodness. There's still other responsibilities of life, and those still do come first. But I felt like I could create my own schedule for once. And because of that, I really wanted to carve in the time for Carbonites like I never had before. So while I do other things, full time, this has also felt very much full time. And it's led to consistent releases every 2 weeks. That's my average. So within the last year, I've opened 15 new categories on the website. And within those 15 new categories and pre-existing categories, I've made 24 cases. And since there's 6 characters in a case, I've made 144 Carbonites in this past year. And that's just something that I would have never been able to do during, when I was treating it more part-time. So we're going 1 year strong. There was a little bit of a break there, but we've been pretty consistent ever since then. So I'm really excited about this. I no longer want to think small. I want to think big with Carbonites, and a lot of that comes down to just dedicating myself like crazy. And I'm sure you can relate with your channel as well.
Yeah, I definitely can. So fun little fact about Star Wars Collective. Before I was doing the channel, I had a small little business. And have you ever heard of a kendama? Kendama?
No, but I wish I had. What is it?
Okay, so a kendama is a Japanese skill toy. It's basically a ball with 3 cups and a spike. And your goal is to get the ball in the cups in different sequences and on the spike as well. So I actually had a little toy business selling kendamas. And it's so much work, first of all, to run your own business, to be the manager, the technician, the CEO, right? You have to have different perspectives and mindsets. So really what I'm trying to say is I do understand, and it's not easy. So I commend you for your work, my friend.
Well, I am very impressed. You are so humble. I never knew that about you. And we've exchanged plenty of messages before. So
we sure have.
Little did I know that maybe that was just one of those extra reasons that you enjoy what it is I do. But
yes, sir.
Now, for you, did it reach like an end goal? Did you achieve what you wanted to with it, or did your interest just transition elsewhere? What made you, or maybe you didn't stop? Maybe you still do it.
No, you're spot on. I did stop and stepped away from it. It was just a lot, and I had been going through some personal things at the time that made it even more difficult to run your own business. And eventually I decided that it wasn't in the best interest for my customers and myself. So, you got to take care of yourself first. And it just wasn't the time to do it anymore. And I felt like it was the time to step away. So, yeah. But it taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful for it. So, yeah. But with that being said, we are on a really cool website called carbonites.company.site. If you ever wanted to go and check out Carbonites, this is where you want to go to. And I wanted to go and check out a set and talk to you about it here on the show. Sure. I'm in the wrong section here. We're going to go to video games. And there it is. The Old Republic.
Ooh, okay.
So this set,
one of these characters is your boy.
You already know, man. So what you've done here is made the Old Republic line. This is the Fires of Hope, number 2 in the Fires of Hope line, and sorry, in the Old Republic line. And with this, we have one of my favorite Sith Lords. That's Darth Malgus. And I just think this came out phenomenally well, Vincent. his lightsaber, right, with that little 2 notches there, and then his scar on his face, his Sith eyes, his intricate detailed armor. I love it. You also have Satele Shan right there. Um, you know, funnily enough, she's, I believe, the reason behind why he has to wear a respirator. Was Satele Shan and him had a duel, and then I think it was the guy here with the goatee. He threw a thermal detonator at Malgus's face and blew him up. So
They were outright abusing Malgus during that cinematic. Poor dude.
I know, right? You almost feel bad for the evil guy. And I love the trooper you have there. I think that's awesome. And also so believe it or not, I'm not familiar with the guy the second to the left with like the tubes coming out. Who is that?
Yeah, so it's supposed to just be a generic trooper.
Okay, cool.
For, I think I named him, let's see, our Ancient Empire Trooper. So one of the troopers, and I thought the way this case worked is it kind of mirrored each other. Dude on the far right mirrors the guy on the far left, and then they just keep kind of mirroring each other as they get a little bit closer, like a chain of command that ascends and then descends from left to right. So a little bell curve, if you will, of commands. But yeah, I'll tell you what, Jacob, this case gave me the toughest time. And I think with Carbonites, they're very simple in their approach. They're blocky figures. They're pretty easy to kind of figure out, not only how they're made, but just how each one kind of is consistent with the next. So while they are very similar with the style, there's minute, smaller things that really do separate them. But what made this one so tricky is you have a cinematic for the game, right? And it's very iconic. Everybody knows it. Then you have in-game shots. And the in-game shots of these characters, the renders, are far simpler than what you see in the cinematic. And that makes sense if, for video game design purposes. But in terms of design, it's like, well, what's the most iconic way to get this character across? Because these aren't licensed products. These are my own original artworks of these characters. So it's pretty important that, naturally these characters are not blocky in the game. So I have to do my best to really capture detail to still make it feel like that character, despite the 1x1x2 proportions. So
okay.
Especially the one in the middle, I named her the Grand Master of the Ancient Samurai, double blue blade. The cinematic, her colors that she has are also very different from the colors she wears in game with her like dress, tunic, her robes, whatever you want to call them. So she gave me the most pause. And, I'm happy to hear that they landed pretty well with you.
They really did. I'm a big fan. I'm hoping I know it's a remaster already, but I'm hoping they would remaster it for newer gen consoles, the Old Republic, that is. But wonderful set, man. Congratulations on, it was a challenge, so you overcame that aspect. And I'm trying to get to, there's just so much to choose from this line. There's one that I am the different iterations of Malgus. That's the one I was trying to find, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that under video games still?
I think that singular image was up on Instagram. I don't think it's made its way to the website just yet.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a fun image, just showing the different variations of how you can do this character. Same thing, looking at those cinematics, in 2 of the 3 of the original 3, that is, you don't see the respirator, because like you said, he gets damaged in the second one. But when I close my eyes and I think about that character, I picture him with the respirator. I feel like that's where he's the most iconic. So when that case had come out, I got some messages being like, hey, are you going to drop the version with the hood and the respirator? Because that's the ideal version that person would want. And
definitely,
I'm like, I actually want that version for myself too. So yeah, it's definitely coming. Odds are, just like Hasbro, just like Funko or Lego, if you see a template that's made and it feels brand new, how Hasbro does repaints or repacks, odds are I'll get my use out of that template as well. And you'll see multiple iterations of the character. So
Wonderful. That's smart, man. It's a good business practice, to be quite honest. So, and you're still providing something new for your customers as well. So it's a win-win situation.
there we go. But how about you, Jacob? I know that you love Malgus. Are there any other characters that either A, they don't get the representation in toy form that you're looking for, or just honing in on Old Republic? Is there anything from that era, other Sith Lords that you're really into?
Yeah, one thing that I don't think gets quite the representation that it deserves are the original trilogy, Star Wars: A New Hope, or 77, whatever you want to call it is fine. But the Cantina aliens. So,
yeah,
like you got the Duros in there, the blue-skinned aliens with the red eyes. I'm blanking on the name of the Cantina Band aliens specifically.
The Bith.
The Bith. Yes, thank you so much. So the Bith would be fun to see. Muftak, which is kind of the furry alien with 4 eyes. Some of like the werewolf ones, like Arliel Shus, or I believe Laxtiv would be another one. Momane Dawn, the Ithorian with the long neck and the 2 eyes at the top. So there could be some really fun Cantina Band aliens. Oh, Ponda Baba, the one who gets his arm cut off by Old Ben.
Yeah,
that one would be awesome to see.
That's some easy reuse right there. Do Ponda Baba, one with the arm, one without the arm.
There you go, man. I would love to see some Cantina aliens because I'm a big fan of the Black Series Bith. The Ponda Baba one has a little bit of a big head, to be quite honest.
Agreed.
But they nailed Momane Dawn, and I would love to see some of the other ones that I just mentioned as well. And there's plenty that could be made, to be honest. So
one of the cool things that I do with Carbonites, at least I think it's cool. Like we were just looking at that the case we're just looking at, that's case number 02 in the line. So what I'll do is when I make a case of Carbonites, I will go to the source material. I'll take all the characters that I think are toyetic or ones that I feel like there's desire for, and I will write down every character that appears. And Wikipedia is definitely my friend with that.
Definitely.
So that and subtitles. But
yeah,
I'll take the characters, I'll group them into buckets of 6, and then from there, if I might unlock a case at a time, like the Carbonite Hunters. I think that's case 12 for that line. So it's like, okay, there's going to be 11 cases predetermined that come before that, and then whatever comes after that. So, and with the project you're talking about with the Cantina, a lot of those characters I do have in buckets, which is pretty exciting.
Oh.
And I'll say I'm a pretty big Greedo fan myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully that comes sooner than later.
I love it. Greedo's the best. McClunky, despite maybe some people don't like that, but Han shot first for sure. That's all that needs to be said there. Do you mind if we check in with our chat and just say what's up to our friends and see how we're doing over there?
Absolutely.
So we got Pink Ghost 764. Vincent's work is amazing. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us tonight. It really means a lot.
Thank you so much.
And the Galactic is saying how it's cool to see how your Carbonites have evolved under the wrap from wood to 3D printed action. So wonderful stuff there.
Thank you.
And then we got our friend Timbo in the house. Hey, Timbo, hope you're having a good night, my man.
Hey, Timbo.
And Mom's saying those are great, Vincent. She loves those Carbonites, man. So
that's
all right.
Wonderful. I love that you're close with her, by the way. I know Cody's close with his mom. We were just talking about that the other day, and I'm pretty close with mine. So I think there's something special there. My mom has always contributed to my love of Star Wars and the figure hunting, and just, man, she was on board for all of that. And it's just so cool to see your mom here in the chat as well. I love that sort of thing.
Same, man. I love it too. She's so supportive. It's the best. But also that your mom is likewise as well. So gotta love the moms. So,
sure.
But hey, what if we take a little step away from Carbonites for a second? We'll jump right back into it, I promise. What if we discuss our 3 favorite characters in Star Wars?
Yeah, I feel like I said my piece on Carbonites. So if we come back to it, cool. If not, that's I just love talking Star Wars. So you
Yeah,
came to me with this idea about talking about three of our favorite characters, and man, it's so hard to start, you know. Um, but I will let
definitely.
you start with one of your three, or if you have an honorable mention or anything like.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be happy to take the wheel. So, a classic one that is, I think, is no surprise to anyone is Grandmaster Yoda. I mean, from his wisdom to his philosophy, I'm going to pull up a picture of Yoda here. Um, he, first of all, is one of the only, basically the only Grand Master in the Jedi Order. Let's see. There's Yoda. Share
I'm
screen.
happy you went with him. I don't feel like he gets the respect he deserves. I feel like people take Yoda for granted a lot.
Yeah, yeah. He's so you know when it comes down to it, he did train so many Jedi, but he did, along with another one of my top three favorite characters, is he trained both of the, well, I guess he trained Obi-Wan, who trained Anakin. So he didn't really train both of the Skywalker kids, but I'm sure he did have some part in Anakin's training. So I think that's pretty interesting. But he's there, very calm, thoughtful. He gives the saga a lot of its emotional and philosophical depth. Empire Strikes Back, luminous beings we are, not this crude matter. Just a quote that'll stick with you forever. Also, do or do not, there is no try. So he's a very quotable character as well. He is very small, but we do see in Empire Strikes Back how powerful he can be when he lifts Luke's X-wing out of the swamp. So when it comes to Jedi, he is small in size and stature, but he is one of the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy, I would say. He can be teaching Padawans one day and then hop on a LAT gunship and go to Battle of Geonosis and then dual Count Dooku. So he's wonderful. He's got a unique way of speaking. Yaddle didn't speak that way. We don't know how Grogu speaks, so it's kind of interesting. Maybe Yoda just has some dyslexia, but he's humorous. He's got a kind of a quirky charm, especially in the original trilogy. Even in the sequel trilogy, page turners they are not when he's talking about the Jedi text. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I just love it. He's warm. He brings levity to intense moments, and he's just a classic Jedi. So I had to give Grandmaster Yoda some love there.
Love or hate The Last Jedi, I've never met somebody who doesn't love his scene from The Last Jedi. He's just Yoda, whether it's the puppet, even the CGI version. I just think he is very infectious. I think the single arc from the Clone Wars that's okay, maybe not the single most, but top two just at least talked about arcs in the Clone Wars is of course that great one, very philosophical from season 6. Man, like when I think of Yoda, the first thing I think of, it's not Empire, it's not Phantom Menace. I think of that scene where he's talking to Dooku in the courtroom, or not the courtroom, but the Jedi courtyard.
Yeah.
And just the pain that he feels that just one of his students walked away. And then, of course, the same happens with Ahsoka in season 5. And
Yeah.
you really just get this sense that he cares about his job, and that is teaching the future generation of Jedi to provide peace and justice to the galaxy. And I think he really embodies that. I think the planet he goes and resides, like Dagobah, embodies him, his look, his peace, his theme music as well from Empire Strikes Back is probably my favorite piece of music in all of Star Wars history. It's just,
wow.
He's just a wonderful character, and yeah, he's definitely worthy of a top 3.
Fantastically said, man. Excellent. And thanks for helping give Yoda some love. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, what's one of your favorites? I know we're gonna go over 3 of them. So
yeah, so for me, the number 1 and the number 2 are like a lock. 3, 4, 5 for me, they definitely flip flop. Okay. I guess the interesting answer would be Enfys Nest. The one that I typically say is my favorite would be Bail Organa. But in recent and just, more of like a newer character, right? One who's just really done something for me on another level, and that is Crosshair. So Crosshair would be my third favorite. He is, I like a character who is the bad guy just for the sake of being the bad guy. And he played that role for a while. I don't always want my characters super, ultra sympathetic. While I typically love the good guys and I root for the good guys, there's this, great deal about Crosshair where he was, in his mind, doing the right thing because it's his programming and it's his orders. And that's a big thing in the military, is doing what you're ordered to do, sometimes if it's right or if it's wrong. So I felt like there was some good historical context here, but the show Bad Batch is also all about brotherhood. And you watch one of the brothers go away to a different crowd of people who he thinks are going to give him the accolades he deserves. Maybe it's social climbing, maybe it's just his calling. And then this beautiful arc he goes on where, no, I actually am falling for the sympathetic villain. And he's one of our brothers. I want him back just as much as the rest of the batch. I was so invested in this guy. And let's face it, he was just so freaking cool. The black armor, the green visor, taking out whoever he had to. But when it comes to landing the shot on his best friends, his brothers, he can't do it because it's the love and it's the fighting his own programming. And that's just, that'll never not do something for me, for sure.
I like that, actually. I wasn't expecting you to mention Crosshair. And, like you said, he's conflicted between the brotherhood that he has and the love that he has for all those guys, and good soldiers follow orders. He does do some questionable things, but I think I mentioned it before. I wasn't like a massive Bad Batch fan. I think I'm definitely gonna rewatch it this winter. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, they I don't know. I don't know if I could elaborate on it any better. I think you said it perfectly. From his tattoo to his demeanor, he's very cool and not suave, because that's kind of like James Bond, but he's just kind of a badass, to say the least. So,
yeah.
Do you have the Black Series Crosshair figure by chance?
Funny enough, it is the only one that I've ever paid resale for. And I'm talking about like the version of him in his Bad Batch armor, which I think is like it's the O2 in the line. I was at Louisville Comic-Con, of all places. Lexington Comic-Con. I apologize.
Oh, okay. No worries.
And I think I had paid $70 for him. And then, what was it, 3 or 4 months later, they decided to re-release him. But that's the way it goes. If you really want the figure, you really want it. So
absolutely.
That was really special. And then, funny enough, about, I think 2 months later, I had a friend gift one to me. It was his father's. He gifted it to me, and then I felt so bad that I had bought it. And I was like, "Wow, how lucky am I? I get 2 Crosshairs now." I'm so overjoyed with that, because it's a character I love so much. So, and then there's the Imperial version. I have that one, and hot take here, I really like that figure. I think it's my favorite Black Series figure that I own, and it really just comes down to, that outfit is so cool to me. Yeah, the head's really big, the shoulders pretty inaccurate. But how about you? Do you own the Crosshair, either version or both versions?
I actually do not own any of the Bad Batch figures.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, man. But I do know that Crosshair was going, and probably is still going, for a pretty penny on the aftermarket. So I'm very happy that you're able to secure 2 of them.
I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
We can talk. Maybe I can add a Crosshair to your collection.
Oh shoot, man! Definitely, we'll definitely talk. That sounds interesting. So yeah, Bad Batch Crosshair. I like that. I think that's a great answer. Now, do you collect any 1/6 scale figures, or are you all 1/12?
Yeah, so the only 1/6 figure I own is actually of my number 1 character, so I'll save that as a surprise.
Okay, I love it.
And I hope that's where I stay for a while. That's such an addicting toy line. I'm assuming we're talking like Hot Toys or
Yeah,
things of that
absolutely.
nature, sideshow. So the bug has bit me, safe to say. Lord knows I'm looking at that Grievous that just came out,
Oh
and
no.
the Plo Koon looks so good as well. But I'm trying to put my restraints on. I'm trying to focus on being a producer and not as much of a consumer. But how about you, my friend? Has the Hot
Good
Toys
man.
bug bit you? Are you all in?
Oh, you know what? Unfortunately, I am. I got into collecting Black Series and Hot Toys at the same time.
Oh,
And so, yeah, my wallet is not a fan of me right now. But yeah, I have, I believe, 6 or 7 Hot Toys. So I've driven in pretty heavy, and I have a few on pre-order as well. One of them is Darth Malgus, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
that is an insane figure. He
It,
looks pretty peak.
doesn't it look peak, man? Absolutely,
Dude.
it sure does. So yeah, I've definitely been bit by the 1/6 scale bug. It's such a fun line to collect, and I just wish it wasn't so expensive.
I hear you. Are any of the 1/6 that you own, are they all in the realm of Star Wars, or are they other franchises as well?
Right now, at this moment, it's just Star Wars,
Okay.
but I have a feeling that's going to change soon. Have you heard of the company InArt?
Are they the ones that are doing the Rebels animated Vader?
No, that's actually Hono Studio.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
InArt is no worries. InArt is a 1/6 scale company that makes figures just like Hot Toys and Sideshow and stuff like that. And they have this Batman versus Superman, Henry Cavill Superman that is really calling my name. It looks stunning, man. It's so freaking cool. So not to get too off topic, but I think that's in the works, or hopefully in the works for the foreseeable future. So
I think we just became a little bit closer. I don't own many McFarlane figures, but I made sure to have, courtesy of my brother, the Zack Snyder cut version of Cavill in the all black suit. And,
Oh,
I really like that look, but man, the one from BVS is nice. I need to look this
yeah.
up. You might have
Yeah,
just put that
man.
on my radar.
I hope I did. It comes with the calm head sculpt, and then there's one where it's got sculpted hair with a rooted fringe, kind of like the new Obi-Wan Kenobi has,
Okay.
the Hot
Yes.
Toys. But it's got the laser eyes, and he just looks so pissed, and it looks phenomenal. So I'll show it to you after in the after show, because you got to see it, man.
I would love that. Yeah, what a great portrayal of the character, and a unique portrayal at that, and just one that was very formative to me, I think, in high school.
Yes, 100%, man.
Yeah.
So before we jump into our next character, let's just say what's up to chat again real quick. Always love to say what's up to our chat. Thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it tonight. Starscream says, I need to play KOTOR. Absolutely. It's a classic one. Same with the Old Republic. Both great games to check out Starscream, especially over the winter. Timbo Toy says, always good to be close to the parents. My mom and dad called me today and we're at Ollie's wondering if I wanted any $4.99 figs. Wow.
Amazing.
Shout out to Timbo's parents, right?
Shout out to Timbo's parents. That is so clutch. I love it.
That's awesome. And then Starscream, thank goodness for the Crosshair re-release. Absolutely. Yep.
Right.
Hey, Starscream is familiar with InArt. Yeah, they're doing some DC stuff. They got that Superman Vincent and I were just mentioning, and a Batflick as well. So that's pretty. Oh, and Wonder Woman as well. Mm-hmm.
Wow. All the BVS looks for the characters?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
Super awesome. Super awesome. So with that being said, we're going to jump into our next favorite character. Well, mine specifically, and I just feel like you can't go wrong with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I feel like is a model Jedi. He has been in basically 6 movies, the first 3 prequels, and he was a Force ghost in the last 2 of the original trilogy. Force spirit, if you will. But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi, aka the Negotiator. He was the first one in about 1,000 years, give or take, to defeat a Sith Lord. That was Darth Maul, and he attained the rank of Jedi Knight through that. and then went on to teach the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker. So, Obi-Wan definitely has been through it. He lost his master, Qui-Gon. He had all the pressure of training Anakin when the Jedi Council did not want him to do so. So I think he had to really stand up and show Yoda that it was Qui-Gon's last will to train Anakin. But he was responsible. Speaking of, this is the person responsible for training 2 members of the Skywalker family, both who served as his Padawan, so Anakin and Luke Skywalker. Despite losing his love, Satine Kryze, Duchess of Mandalore, he didn't let that break his spirits. He kept on moving, even though it was very heartbreaking for him. So, we've all been through heartbreaks before, and I just think it's cool. Maybe a lot of people don't know that Obi-Wan did have a love of his life that he unfortunately lost due to Darth Maul. So, and then, one of his final kind of acts was sacrificing himself aboard the Death Star, so that his allies could escape. He finally saw Luke and Leia reunited, and he gives that little smile at the end. So I think he was content, and he's now kind of living on through the Force for who knows how long. Probably, he achieved some sort of immortality, you could say. So model Jedi, trained the Skywalker kids, Anakin and Luke specifically, I mean, and defeated the first Sith in 1,000 years. I just think he's a mix of badassery, model Jedi. Maybe the only thing was that he didn't lie to Luke, but he didn't tell him the truth by mentioning that Darth Vader was his father. But I think he was just trying to save Luke from the pain that it would cause him. We could see how much anguish he was in at the end of Empire Strikes Back. So when he found out his father was Vader. So yeah, man, not to drone on too long, but Obi-Wan Kenobi had to make the list. He's one of my favorite characters.
Well, I got to tell you, Jacob, that was one of the best, most exceptional breakdowns of my second favorite character.
Oh, no way.
I don't think you got to pull up another picture. I'm looking at him right here. Obi-Wan is, I mean, it's hard not to put him at one. When I think about characters who really just bring the quotes, you were talking about great quotes with Yoda, but the ones that live rent free in my head with Obi-Wan is, while talking to Darth Maul right before he's about to kill Satine, you can break me, but you'll never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side. Only the weak embrace it. Darth Maul says it's more powerful than you know, and Obi-Wan retorts with, it's more powerful than you'll ever be. And just, right, dude, it's like bars. Like it hits me. And when I hear that, when I hear things like Maul talking to Obi-Wan in the desert right before he meets his demise, talking things like, look at you, a rat in the desert, and Obi-Wan hits him with, look what I've risen above. He put it all behind him, whereas Maul's still, Maul's still the Arthur meme, just clenching the fist, at the side, So, and then of course there's like all of the great things that Ewan was saying in the prequels. You're right. It's the smile Alec Guinness gives right before Vader strikes him down. I mean, Obi-Wan to me is just a character that I would aspire to be like in my everyday life. And he has the drip as well. I love the cream colored robes, and especially when he has like the Clone Wars armor with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
General Kenobi, he looks so awesome.
He does, man. I mean, I think we all wish we had a beard, well, like Jacob from Star Wars Collective, but also like Ewan McGregor with Obi-Wan, or even the Clone Wars, how chiseled it is. He's a cool character and perfect Jedi to me. But the last thing I'll add to wrap up.
Yeah.
When I started, prior entrepreneurial ventures of mine. One of them used to be artwork of shoes that I would sell at like footwear conventions.
Oh, okay, nice.
Go to all the sneaker cons in the area. I'm a very big sneakerhead as well, and I collect footwear. But when I would go to these conventions, it's a lot of sneaker resellers. It's a lot of people selling clothing, things of that nature. And I was, the kid who was selling artwork. And with that comes just a great deal of patience. And shout out to my mom once more. She joined me. She helped me set up at one of these conventions. And I'm a kid. I think I was in 8th grade, or I was a freshman in high school. And
Yeah.
I still had not learned the lesson of patience. And, I'm very lucky that I learned it at that age, because as people would walk by the booth, I was angsty. I was like, oh man, I hope somebody buys my art. And my mom's like, okay, we're gonna teach you patience. Do me a favor. How many years did Obi-Wan wait in the desert for the chosen one to emerge? And he just waited patiently. She's like, that's your favorite character. Well, second favorite character. So try to embody that. And I go, man, he waited for 19 years, if I'm not mistaken. I've only been here at this footwear convention for 2 hours. So there's some time left. And then sure enough, 30 minutes later, somebody had bought something, and it blew my mind. It was my first ever sale,
Yeah.
So
Wow.
thankfully, I've learned that lesson with Carbonites. It's a very essential lesson to learn if you're going to run a business, that you can't be sitting there at your phone waiting for every next sale. Go about your life. They'll come when they come, and cherish them when they do. Don't take them for granted. And it's all about patience. And that's something that this character on screen has in tenfolds. And I really admire that about Obi-Wan. So yeah, great pick.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. What a awesome story. It sounds like you've had that entrepreneurial spirit since you were a young Padawan. So
Yeah. Somehow I grew up playing Monopoly a lot with my family. Maybe that has something to do with it.
definitely. And you're right. He did wait, like almost 2 decades, and that is true patience right there. So wonderfully said to cap off Obi-Wan Kenobi, man. I really do appreciate that, your insight, and I'm glad he's one of your favorite characters as well. And that beard is just top notch. I definitely try to model mine after him.
There we go. Absolutely. You're doing a good job. I like it.
I love it. So Obi-Wan Kenobi, sorry, Crosshair, what is your next favorite Star Wars character, man?
Okay. So next favorite, and you're going to have to stop me because I can go on and on. So my favorite character, and this is of all time across all fiction, would be Cad Bane.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So Cad Bane for me, and this is before Tales of the Underworld. I was, before we even get his backstory. So for me, oh, look at that guy. I man, when I see that, I still can't believe we got Tales of the Underworld, and that we got to see this chap's backstory. So
Yes. Yep.
We'll get the allegations out the way. All right. He's not a good father. And unfortunately, he is willing to capture kids for the Empire. I don't mess with that. That sucks. Don't be doing none of that. But let's look at everything else that surrounds this badass dude, right? So first of all, I don't want to throw shade at Darth Malgus here. I'm not actually at all. I love Darth Malgus. But to explain why I love Cad Bane, we have to look at 2 characters, Darth Malgus and the Emperor. So Darth Malgus is one of the only people that I can think of that has ever marched into the Jedi Temple in that badass cinematic that we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Walks right into the Jedi Temple, walks right up to the Jedi, takes on a bunch of them with his, Sith acolyte boys, burns the temple, and he's the man in the high castle at the end of that cinematic. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Cad Bane also infiltrated the Jedi Temple, and he's not Force sensitive. He's not a Sith Lord. He didn't come in there with an army of Sith acolytes or a fine Twi'lek or Shea Vizsla. Nah, he walked in there with himself, his kind of klutzy droid, Toto 360.
Yeah.
And Kato something. I always forget her name, but it's the changeling. It's the Zam Wessel type bounty hunter girl.
Yeah.
It's Kato something. And he walks in there, and he walks out of the Jedi Temple, unscathed. Now, Toto got blown up, but that was by Cad Bane's doing. Kato didn't make it out. But Cad Bane walked out of Jedi Temple. And as Kanan says, in Star Wars Rebels, back in my day, the Jedi Temple had 10,000 Jedi Knights. So Cad Bane walks up in a crib of 10,000 Jedi Knights and Grandmasters. Obi-Wan and Anakin are chasing his tail, walks out unscathed, gets paid, does the job. And then we also look at the Emperor. The Emperor likes to be in the Senate area, and Jedi come into the Senate all the time. So he masks his presence, which is pretty cool. But I can't think of one time the Emperor ever went into the Jedi Temple. He sends Anakin to go do the Jedi Purge. He's always just kind of sitting in his office, which is pretty cool. Jedi come to him, but he never goes into the temple. So I go, man, Cad Bane went into the temple, and he's just a gunslinger. And ever since I was a kid, I have never been able to think about that and not just smile and be like, that is the guy. He's him.
He's him.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's fantastically said. He, in Tales of the Underworld specifically, was just a young kid trying to survive, and then he ends up turning into a badass gunslinger, to say the least. But I didn't even think of that, Vincent, that he infiltrated the Jedi Temple, similar to Malgus. Palpatine, Darth Sidious never stepped foot in the Jedi Temple, I'm sure for good reason. Like you said, 10,000 Jedi Knights at one time. So wonderful, dude. Now, do you have the Cad Bane Black Series figure?
Yes. Yeah. Wow. How lucky am I that Cad Bane has been covered so well in this line? I mean, I know there's people who are still waiting for countless characters to be made, and dang, they did a Cad Bane from Clone Wars, and then they did a San Diego Comic-Con version that came with Toto. So count them two, for Black Series and Clone Wars, and then the Bad Batch version, the Baraka figure. And then there was 2 figures from Book of Boba Fett for a grand total of 5 Cad Banes in the Black Series. Wow. And I'm very lucky to say that I have one of each, which is pretty cool. Yeah. I have my own little shelf in my room dedicated to all 3, lined up in chronological order. And I love the art on the sides of the boxes so much.
Oh yeah.
And my favorite Cad Bane artwork is the Book of Boba Fett single release figure. The artwork is like him at a side profile, kind of looking back, and it's just it just has aura.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How about you? What's your experience like with Cad Bane Black Series?
When I first got into the line, I was hardcore looking at the Book of Boba Fett one, the one you're just mentioning. Yeah. And I think I did a little bit of research and found, I believe it was the Clone Wars one. I think it had a little bit of a bigger hat or a smaller hat. I'm not 100% certain at this point, but that was the one that I liked. I think I enjoyed his the emotion he was conveying. I think was a little bit more meaner. Like he had a furrowed brow, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed.
So yeah, that's the one that I still don't have a Cad Bane figure, but that's the one that I have in my Big Bad Toy Store cart. So
that is, all things considered, that one is my favorite. When I do think about Cad Bane, I do think of that Clone Wars outfit, that big brim hat. And I guess if I were to make a recommendation, despite not being a figure reviewer, I do think the Clone Wars Cad Bane is the strongest entry of the whole Black Series line for Cad Banes.
Wonderful. I like that a lot. Okay, good. Then I've been going with the right one. I'll follow my gut.
I'm happy to hear that. But I'm very anxious to hear who you have at your number 1. I'm actually not going to guess Malgus. I think it's somebody else, but I'm curious to see who.
Well, we will find out very shortly here. Let's just jump back in and say what's up to our friends in the chat. We actually have the Stone Mandalorian in the house. What's up, Cody? Hope you're doing well, man.
Very cool. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, he says, sorry I'm late, guys. No worries, man. You're here finally, which is all that matters. So thanks for joining us, brother. We also got our good friend Troy in the house. Troy was here. He says, hello there. Hello, Troy.
Hey, Troy.
Awesome. Okay. Troy asked Jacob, how come you can't get super chats yet? So I have not hit the threshold for the 3,000. That's right. 3,000 required watch hours to be able to be eligible for super chats.
Whoa.
Which is a lot of watch time. So I'm around 1,000, and you have to do it in the span of 1 year. So I got some work cut out tonight, or for me. That's why tonight we are streaming twice in 1 week, just to try to get some watch hours up. So thanks to everyone who's watching tonight. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. If you're new, please subscribe, as that greatly helps to boost the channel and the algorithm. So thank you so much. And Troy, we'll be coming for those super chats eventually, brother.
That's actually a really cool metric that you just shared. I don't know how easy it is to Google that information, but yeah, you guys have to put in a lot of work just to have that function made available. But good for you, man. You're definitely putting out some stellar content.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. It really means a lot coming from you. And it's really fun to check. If you go to your YouTube studio, which we all have as if you have a YouTube channel or a YouTube profile, and you can go to studio, go down to the watch hours section and see exactly how many you have. So it's kind of nice to keep up with that.
Very cool.
Yeah. And we got our friend Sci-Fi Dude 945. What's up, TVC family? What's up, my man? Hope you're doing well tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Really means a lot. And Cody says Clone Wars Cad Bane and the Bad Batch one are both awesome. Yep.
Absolutely.
Right. And yeah, you're right, man. 3,000 hours is no joke. So yeah, we'll get there eventually. And thanks so much, everyone, for supporting. We got 7 people in here checking out the show. We've gotten up to 9 tonight, so it really means a lot that you're hanging out with Vincent and I. We're going to finish up our favorite Star Wars characters and then dive into some fun. We got some sneak peek look at some upcoming Carbonite sets, so I can't wait to check that out with you, Vincent.
Oh, thank you. I just did a stream with Cody the other day, and they're actually different reveals than what I showed him. So I don't know if he'll still be around for then. But yeah, I decided to give you some reveals I haven't shown anybody else yet.
Wonderful. That's so exciting. Hopefully he'll stick around and be able to check it out. And if not, then I'm sure he's going to be excited if he checks out the replay. So, yeah. But yeah, going into my favorite Star Wars character, it actually is going to be pretty simple to guess. And I guess this is no specific order. It's just the top 3. But it is going to be... I should probably pull up a picture of him. It is going to be Darth Malgus, and I think that comes as no surprise.
You're definitely getting that hot toy now.
Oh, dude, you already know. So Malgus, I'm trying to find a decent picture of the guy here. I can't open any of these in a new tab. Okay, so Malgus, Darth Malgus. We were talking about him a bit tonight. He's a Sith Lord from the Old Republic. And there he is right there. We got him. And, we were kind of talking about it earlier in the stream. At the height of the Great Galactic War, Malgus and his forces invaded the planet of Alderaan, which we are familiar with. And Malgus and his forces were defeated, actually, by Satil Shan. And Malgus was heavily wounded in the battle, which ended up making him forced to wear a respirator for the rest of his life, which is pretty interesting. Kind of following, like a Darth Vader, if you will, but older. So his wasn't like a full face mask; it was just like a half face mask. So really interesting there. He did, like Vincent mentioned earlier, lead the attack on Coruscant on the Jedi Temple. And he defeated Jedi Aaron Lenar's master. And so she ended up going back and actually targeting Malgus for his murder of her master. She ultimately failed. But the fascinating thing about this is it really caused conflict in Malgus, and he became disillusioned with the Empire. and how he was reviewing his relationship with Elena Daru, the Twi'lek that you mentioned earlier, Vincent. And tragically, he ended up murdering her and killing her so he could preserve his own power within himself. So he'll, yeah, so pretty brutal, seeing her as a weakness for himself and trying to cut off all weaknesses to remain as powerful as he could. And then a fun little fact, Darth Vader actually studied some of Malgus's writings and noted a degree of similarity between himself and Malgus. And along with Darth Vitiate, Malgus was seen as being perhaps one of the most powerful Sith Lords in the Star Wars history in terms of his strength and his influence and his might and stuff like that. So I just think he's so cool. Kind of like another different style of Vader. Like I said, an older Vader, right? He had to wear the respirator. He had conflict in himself. He had some tragedy in his life. But ultimately, yeah, I don't know the end of Malgus's story. I think at the end towards the end of his time with the Empire, he really kind of became conflicted with that, and I think he went off into the Outer Rim somewhere. So maybe he's still around not to this day, but maybe he was around for a while after the fall of the Old Republic and stuff. So
turns out he is Supreme Leader Snoke this whole time. Well, that's interesting though, because I never knew how he met his demise, or if it was ever even stated. Do you just defeat him in the game and then it's like your character who defeats him in the MMO, or is it truly just one of these mysteries? So how interesting that he's still a player technically. Wow.
Yeah, I think he kind of defected from the Empire and lived out his days kind of as like a rogue, which is pretty interesting. Because a lot of the Sith, I think, end up meeting their demise. Either, he ended up slaying his master, Darth Vindicate, if I'm not mistaken. After they retook Korriban, which is, that's just the Sith way. The apprentice kills the master to become the more powerful one, and so goes from Darth Bane the lineage of the Sith. So
right,
just fascinating. What an interesting character, and he's so badass. And I have one Darth Malgus figure from the Black Series, but I want to get another one because I'd actually like to take off his hood and cape and his respirator to give him kind of like that pre Attack on Coruscant Malgus look.
I was going to ask you, so let's say the hot toy ends up in your collection, which sounds like it's going to. What's your preferred way? How are you going to display him? What look are you going to give him?
So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put his hood on because I don't want any black dye to transfer onto his bald head. But I'm thinking of fully taking, because you can take the cape off. So I was thinking of taking the cape off and having him displayed, with like a force, maybe like both force gesture hands like this, kind of looking down with his respirator on, or just have the hood down and keep the cape on and have him like getting ready to like swing his lightsaber or using force lightning, because he does come with force lightning accessory, which is pretty sweet.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
So a couple different ways that you can go about it. I think there's technically 3 ways you can display him. One with the hood and the respirator on, one with the hood off and the respirator on, and then one with the respirator off so you can see all of his scarring.
And there was a 4th cinematic where there's like 2 Twi'lek children, and I think he's rolling with like his version of an Inquisitor or something like that. And he has a totally different look in that one. It almost looks like his respirator is like the 2.0 version. Like he had seen so much more damage from battle and he had to like up his gear or something like that. That's also a really cool look for him.
That is a cool look, and a fantastic cinematic where he gets tossed around at first and then ends up slaying that Twi'lek's master. So
yeah.
What a cool cinematic that is of Malgus. That's why I want him to remake the game so more people can get into it who haven't played it before.
Dude, well, I saw Starscream in the chat earlier. Like, I'm gonna play KOTOR, and I know that's another remake they're working on too. And It's kind of sad to keep up with the news because it's such a roller coaster of is it happening, is it not happening, and yeah, I think all those games, some sort of remaster would be great.
Definitely, man. Hopefully they'll come one day. But I've been having fun with the Jedi Survivor games, and the Fallen Order series. That's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed those games a lot.
Yeah, interesting enough, this also came up the other day on stream, and we were talking about which game we prefer. I'm going to throw it to you. Do you have a preference of Fallen Order versus Survivor?
Yes, I like the story of Fallen Order more so I think that's my choice, but I do enjoy the gameplay of Jedi Survivor. I had played it when it was still pretty new, and there were so many bug issues that my game would just crash out of nowhere and I'd lose my progress, so it was a little frustrating.
That's the worst.
Yeah, but what about you, man? Did you have a preference?
Yeah, I think I had Survivor built up in my mind as something so beyond S tier that it's not even funny. Because for me, I have never upgraded my console even to this day. I'm rocking with an Xbox One, and
Nice.
so I loved playing Fallen Order right when it came out, freshman in college. That was just so many great memories with that game. And then and I patiently waited with Survivor, and I was like, man, I'm gonna upgrade my console one day, man. I'm gonna play Survivor. It's gonna be great. And I thought Survivor would be the game to get me to upgrade my console, and it just didn't. So I stayed away from spoilers. I avoided them like the plague, and I somehow dodged so many spoilers for this game. And then eventually they announced, hey, it's coming to the Xbox One, and I'm like, what? I would have never thought, So I played hard to get, and I guess it paid off.
Yeah, absolutely, you did.
I finally got to play the game, and I guess on a story level, it's just not what I thought. I kept hearing, and this is very non-spoiler here, I kept seeing the marketing about this guy named Dagan Gera, this High Republic Jedi. Oh, there's even toys of him that are on Black Series figures.
Yeah.
And I think I had that character made up in my mind as something other than what he was. And I love the character in the game. But I was a little surprised to find out that there was emphasis placed on other characters throughout the game that were kind of hidden from the marketing. And I think that took me aback. And I think that was also the goal of the game. But I guess I was wanting more from Dagan and Ravis and his crew of people. So I guess that was a little bit of a letdown. But I cannot agree more about the gameplay of Survivor. It's so good. I love picking the lightsaber style, the blaster with the lightsaber crossguard. The customization was next level. The cantina with all the aliens, Turgil, all those dudes. The bartender guy, man, it was so infectious. I love that game so much. But I'm with you. I think I prefer the story of Fallen Order a little bit more.
Yeah, man. There's something about it. Survivor definitely had its moments. Not to spoil anything, Kobo was just so big and detailed that I found when we went to the moon and even Coruscant, just it was it didn't feel unfinished, but it felt like there could have been more to explore. And, I was a little bummed because I was like, all right, once I'm done with Kobo, I'm going to go and explore the heck out of this next planet. And then I'm like, okay, well, I finished that in 3.5 hours. So,
it's the truest definition of all things lead back to Kobo. That moon that you're talking about, it was so cool. Even it was, I don't want to say too much. It was kind of like an ice planet. It was an ice planet installation. I thought was so cool as well. Coruscant. When I hear Coruscant, my mind goes right to those 1313 games. It goes to Ahsoka exploring the underground sectors, even in Mando, the top side areas where Dr. Pershing was cruising around. Coruscant is such a rich planet, and when you play Coruscant, it's on such a tight, guided path. And like you, I just felt like you're right. It doesn't feel unfinished. Everything looks gorgeous. There's no bugs, but it did just feel so contained for the planet that has always felt limitless.
Beautifully said. Yeah, it would have been cool if we could even go back later in the game and explore a new area that we hadn't been to, just to kind of continue on with the adventure.
Yeah.
But alas, I'm still excited and very grateful that we got what we got. It was a phenomenal game, and I encourage everyone to check out the Jedi series, Fallen Order, and was it Fallen Kingdom? Oh my God, that's the wrong series. And Jedi Survivor.
Jedi Survivor. Real quick, I guess we talked about what we weren't a fan of as much. What is your favorite thing from Survivor besides the combat?
I would say my favorite thing was hunting down the different pieces to the outfits in the secret chests, and unlocking like the full outfit was really awesome. Like I liked the Jedi. It was the Jedi tunic. I really liked that one. And then you could style Cal's hair in like a ponytail with like a bun or whatever. And I was like, oh, he looks like a Jedi master now. So kind of rocked his look for a lot of the game. But what about you, man? What did you enjoy the most about that series?
I really liked that they brought Jeddah into the fold. I thought that was, the first game, you go to Kashyyyk, you go to Dathomir, Ilum. They had a lot of familiar planets. In this one, did a great job bringing in some more unfamiliar planets. And I thought Jeddah, like, wow, we got Jeddah and Coruscant. Like, those are such rich picks. And while Coruscant wasn't what we were looking for per se, I was really impressed with Jeddah, the landscapes and all. I love running on those long four-legged horse things. Those guys are great. And just getting to talk with Marin as she's with you on that planet. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. So I could always use more Jeddah in my life. Sad that it got blown up, but whatever.
Definitely. I forgot that Jeddah was even on a planet in the game. And that was probably the second largest planet to explore.
Yes.
With a lot of fun creatures to dispatch. And like you said, those camel horse things were really fun to speed across the desert on. So lovely, man. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said right on. I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean
no,
to
you're good. No worries. Let's go ahead and check in with our friends in the chat. They make our show possible, so we got to give them some love. Stone Mando says Malgus. Sci-Fi Dude says Malgus. We got some other Malgus fans here. Damn, Jacob dropping some knowledge. Hey,
True.
I do what I do. Sci-Fi Dude says we need more EU figures. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. We got our friend GXB back from the Firehouse. He says, hey, Jacob, Vincent, and chat. Ooh, TVC Dagon Garo would be nice, huh? That would be cool.
Absolutely.
Include the Force Ghost arm, because the Black Series one that I have doesn't have the Force Ghost arm.
Okay, I forget which one. Do you have the one from the 2-pack or the single release?
Single release. Uh-huh.
Okay, I had to think like which version did not have it. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, man, good knowledge right there. Starscream, I needed a boat yesterday. Would you pick a boat up, Vincent?
I think I'd be tempted. I think I'd be tempted, but I don't think I would. How about you?
I would probably pick up a Bode. Yeah, I think that would. He's a pretty interesting character. I did not expect what happened at the end with him. I'll just say that to leave the spoilers. Starscream, I prefer. Yep, TBS, but I'd take a TVC too. Definitely, absolutely. Go. Wonderful. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We still got 10 people watching. And with that being said, we're going to get Vincent's very last favorite Star Wars character and then dump into some unreleased Carbonites. So, yeah, man. So lay it on us. What is one of your last favorite Star Wars characters? We got your first one was Crosshair and then Cad Bane. So can't wait to see this last choice.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan would have been my second. So Cad Bane for me was my first. So if I had to just throw in one more to talk about, I guess I will bring up Enfys Nest and Bail Organa interchangeably, my honorable mentions. Pretty simple here. Enfys Nest, love the costume. Favorite costume in all of Star Wars. Man, that would be that would be the hot toy that would get me. That would be. So I mentioned
Ooh.
earlier that I only have I have a hot toy of my favorite characters. So Cad Bane. I have the Book of Boba Fett version, then the sideshow Clone Wars version, and but when I look at Enfys Nest here, thanks for pulling up a photo.
Yeah.
That while I love the Black Series figure and the TVC figure, the soft goods that would be incorporated with her, there is a very rare shot. It's a split second, blink and you miss it. It's when Enfys takes her staff up and over the head, and she's leaping down on one of Dryden Voss's Hibbalon enforcers, the guys in the all black.
Mhm.
And in that quick split second shot, you get to see what the back of her cape looks like. And let me tell you, that is one of the coolest fabric prints I've ever seen in my life. It's a lot of triangles. It's almost like a digi camo, but with triangles
Ooh.
of all the different skin tone colors. And man, would that look so killer on a figure. The Black Series one's super cool. I do wish one day, that they'll do one with a removable helmet. I think there's something about Erin Kellyman, her likeness as just a person. It just plays so well off the armor. They just got somebody with just such an interesting look. All the freckles, the hair, when I look at Enfys Nest, to me, that is a character who is fully realized from the exterior to the interior to the person that cast to play as her. And when I think about who I would be in Star Wars, I like Cad Bane, but I couldn't capture the kids like he does. I don't know if bounty hunting's for me. There's a lot there I would disagree with, but I think I would be more of like an Enfys Nest, just trying to take down the Empire here and there on little hit and runs. But and not trying to profit off of it, just trying to do some good. So, and
Wow.
then with Bail Organa, I just think he's one of the more unsung heroes in all of Star Wars. Very suave, very well put together, so much class. He raised one of the all-time greatest characters in all Star Wars, being Princess Leia.
Yes. Spit, brother.
Yeah, he just has such a sophistication to him, and I really feel like, dang. Jimmy Smits could have played a great Jedi, but instead he was a great senator, and I just love the character. Look at the outfit. What a guy.
The outfit is so awesome. Now, which Bale would you like to see? Rebels Bale, like animated look, or like the live action from maybe for one of the prequels?
I really like his outfit in Rogue One, that like olive green that he wears. And I know it's just for like a split second. Yeah, right there.
There we go. Yeah.
Love that look for him. Pre Death on Alderaan Bale right there.
Mm-hmm. I love it. That we need him in the line. He's a must-have, in my opinion. Just as important as, well, like you said, he raised one of the best characters in Star Wars, Princess Leia Organa, and yeah, I would take any Bale at this point. So Hasbro, hear us.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. For you, who do you think is like the unsung hero of Star Wars?
That is a really interesting question. If she does get her 15 minutes of fame, but I still think that I would like to have seen more, especially in Revenge of the Sith, was probably Padme. She is the mother of Luke and Leia, after all. And, she was pretty prominent in Phantom Menace, and she was pretty prominent in Attack of the Clones. That was kind of like her and Anakin's movie, the love story. But in Revenge of the Sith, I feel like she kind of got put on the back burner. And it was cool to see like this image. I just had it with Padme and Bail Organa in the Senate. Oh my God, the quote is like on the tip of my tongue. That's how liberty dies, is with thunderous applause. So, right. Fantastic. Yeah, man, I'm glad you agree. So just two really unsung characters in Star Wars right there. Leia's father, and then the mother as well. At least her stepdad, or not her biological dad, as we all know. So
yeah, that's a wonderful pick. I think with Padme, there's a lot of, Padme thirst traps, but I think, and that's one way people will like the character. But I mean, putting the actress aside, just the character and then how the actress brought it to life with the acting, I think Natalie did a great job. Padme in the Clone Wars, a lot of people think those episodes are very skippable, but if you don't skip the Senate episodes, man, Padme does a lot in there. So, and she also sees action as well on top of, she sees combat, not just, in the Senate like Bail Organa is. So,
yeah, exactly.
You're so right, man. We're looking at two very unsung heroes in Star Wars for sure.
Definitely, man. Absolutely. Well, that was fun, man, to go over our favorite characters. I think you mentioned it. It kind of helps you to learn about a person, seeing their favorite characters from their movies. But, we're Star Wars people. So, yeah, I liked that, man. So we had Crosshair, Cad Bane, Enfys Nest, and then Bail Organa, which is a wonderful pick. And all characters would be cool to see either in the Black Series or 2.0 versions of them in the Black Series.
Yeah, and for you, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Malgus. I love that. You seem to lean very like Jedi and Sith heavy. So I like that. They're pretty cool.
Definitely, man. Who doesn't want to be a badass Force user,
I'm saying. You're right. Spitting.
So, yeah, man. So let's check in with chat again, say hi to them, and then we'll talk about some new Carbonites, show you guys some new love, some new stuff.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Starscream says, I want the Bail from Andor. I think you mentioned that, Vincent. That would be sweet. Yep.
Would be.
Yeah, Carbonites, a good question. Let us know, chat. What is your favorite 3? What is your top 3 favorite Star Wars characters? There we go. Stone's dropping his. Okay, Qui-Gon.
All right.
Darth Maul. How do we know?
How do we know?
And number 3, Luke Skywalker. Right on. Good pick, Stoned.
They truly are.
Indeed. Sci-Fi Dude, our buddy Sci-Fi Dude, says his favorites are Darth Talon, Darth Vader, and Luke. So we're getting some Luke love tonight.
Okay. Wow. Everybody seems to be going with the Sith and the Jedi. I like it. That's cool. Talon is a really cool pick, by the way.
Great pick. Yeah, definitely. We'd love to see a Darth Talon. Not to be a gooner, but a Darth Talon figure would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Starscream. Sure. Yeah, man. Starscream is loving Krennic, Thrawn, and the Grand Inquisitor. All right, sweet.
Very Empire heavy.
Yeah, totally, man. And then GXB, Chewie, Obi-Wan, and Bo-Katan. All right.
Nice. Yeah, how about Bo? She has gotten tons of development over the years. That is a character who just keeps getting better and better, for sure.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What is her name? Katie Sackhoff. Great depiction of Bo-Katan. And yeah, we got her in the line, and Hot Toys has her. So yeah, Bo-Katan's gotten her flowers and her love.
Oh yeah.
Sci-Fi Dude says Sith all day, every day, baby. All day, every day. So Vincent, let's get into some new Carbonites here. This is all brand new stuff, so thank you so much to Vincent for showcasing this tonight for the audience. But we have number 1 in the line, the best opening ever, and this is from Revenge of the Sith, the very beginning, the Battle of Coruscant. We got Pilot, Jedi Starfighter, Anakin, Obi-Wan, R4, 2 clone pilots, and a buzz droid. So lay it on us, man. Would you like to tell us a little bit about this set here?
Yeah, I would be happy to. So tonight we're previewing 2 cases that are almost done. They're almost there. I can tell you with the 2 cases, there's just 1 character in each that just needs some tweaking. Once that character is done, these will be coming out pretty dang soon, probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say.
Ooh.
So looking at this case here, yes, we have a ROTS-2005 line on the website. I believe there's 7 cases in that line so far. We went very heavy on that one during May 5th of this year.
Yeah, nice.
And I think like the first case in the line might be 12. And now we're going all the way back to case number 1. Yeah, the character that still needs a little bit of tweaking is the character on the far right. There's something about the way that one wraps around in the 360 view that just needs to be rendered a bit better because he's so spindly. He doesn't really adhere to those blocky proportions, and
Yeah.
thus I got to figure that out. But
All right.
is there a character who's jumping out to you in this lineup?
I love R4. I think R4 is so cool. I love the colors, the gray with the red and the white. But rest in peace to our beloved R4. R4 gets taken out by one of the bus droids, and it's a bummer we didn't see more of R4. I think R4 is technically classified as a female droid. Don't quote me on that. I know, but yeah, so R4 probably. But what about you, man? Which one would be your favorite from the line here?
Yeah, so there is good question. I think for me, once I get that sixth character figured out, that's a very cool one. It's something that doesn't seem to pop up too often in universe, and I do think it's an opponent that is very practical and actually quite scary if I ever were to come across. So, but I will say one of the pilots, specifically the fifth one in, he has like 2 seconds of screen time right when he gets blown up. But he has a really cool, kind of like right here at the side of the headphones would be on the side of his helmet. He has a really freaking cool detail, and it comes from. I named the character the Flying Green Knights, and I believe you have a version of it.
I do, yeah.
One of his insignias on his chest, actually, for some reason, is on that pilot's helmet. So I'm like, what? That's kind of an odd thing in universe, but it must have been a little Easter egg when making the movie. So that pattern has made its way onto that pilot's helmet.
Man, I love the attention to detail that you put in, Vincent. That's fantastic, and I can see what you're referencing on the clone pilot's side. So,
yeah,
man, I love that. That is awesome, dude.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
This one will come out, like I said, 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say, and it's a lot of reuse that you're seeing there. But with the holidays coming up, I really have to focus on the production side. As orders are coming in, I have to try to work on those as quickly as I can, ship them as quickly as I can, so they can be, there for the holidays right on time. So because I'm focusing more on production these next few weeks, it's less on, heavy, intense designs. So I went through my catalog and I'm like, okay, what can I piece together from pre-existing cases to make new cases? And while that character on the far right, the sixth character in, is completely brand new, the other 5 are manipulated templates of pre-existing characters, and that'll be very apparent on the next reveal we have as well, if you want to show that one off.
Yeah, absolutely. Be my pleasure. Can't wait for this set. It's going to be amazing. I love Revenge of the Sith. Stone Mando is definitely getting this one, he says.
Awesome.
Buzz droids for the win. Yes, you already know. And he says he enjoyed the stream with you the other day and was stoked to see that on the hybrid stream. So right on, dude. And yeah, we'll jump into our next preview. So we had Revenge of the Sith. Now we're going over to some Clone Wars.
That's right.
So this is untold as far as the number in this line goes. Does that mean that this is an addition to an existing Clone Wars line? You're just not quite sure where to fit the puzzle piece in?
That's exactly it. Up until now, we've never done a case from season 5. We've done seasons 1, 3, and 7. And so I still have to go through those buckets of characters and make sure, that I know who the 6 is going to be, but I am trying to think like, okay, do I kick out a few others, and do I distinctly label this case as number this? So there still needs some behind the scenes preparations with that. It's typically one of the last steps, along with naming the case, which I'll leave this up to Chad. If there's a name that comes to mind that you think describes this scene, type it, and I will promise you I will at least consider it. So this was a great one to make. It definitely has a battle pack feel to it. And there is a lot of reuse happening here, but there's also a lot of brand new characters as well, some of which I know Hot Toys has recently announced, and I am so excited about that figure. But
Right,
the
man?
character that needs the most work still is the character on the far left. The first character in. He's not done. I feel like I've just barely scratched the surface on his face. So in due time, he'll be looking better. But what do you think
All
of the case,
right.
Jacob?
I am a huge sucker for the Coruscant Guard. So any member of the Coruscant Guard is welcome. We have 2 clones from the Coruscant Guard as well as Sergeant Hound. And you're right, the Hot Toys version is coming out with a Massive, which is pretty sweet. We also have Ahsoka, and then I'm forgetting, is that Commander Fox?
I can't say, unfortunately, but
Okay, no worries.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Keep everyone guessing for that, man.
There we go.
Yeah, I think this case looks really, really wonderful. I love the Ahsoka. And of course, like I just said, the Coruscant Guard and Sergeant Hound. But I'm excited to see on the far left that he's going to receive some updates before the case is released. So I'm looking forward to see what you do with that. And as always, these are not final Carbonites; they are under review. So yeah, keep your ear to the ground when it comes to these new cases from Vincent. Again, you can go to I'm not sharing my screen, but you can go to his website, carbonites.company.site, to find the Carbonites that Vincent has for sale there. And he's got so many to choose from. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. There's going to be something for everyone. 81 cases to collect specifically with almost 500 characters. So definitely go and check out Carbonites' website so you can find the Carbonite set that's right for you. And yeah, man. So let me just add this back to the stage. There we go. The Clone Wars set that is going to be dropping. Hopefully, what is that? A couple weeks again? Same as the first set here, Vincent.
Yeah, so something that I like to do, for those who don't follow me on Instagram, I love to do marketing campaigns. I have fond memories of toy commercials as a kid, and just, I don't know, it helps add to the hype, it helps add to the memory of each release. So with these, they're definitely going to be rapid release. There might be like a heads up the day before they get posted on the website. And then it very much is going to be a first come, first serve basis. Right now with each case, it's a 2-week window. It's a 2-week marketing campaign. And these are going to be more shock dropped as I'm focusing more on getting things ready for the holidays. So, yeah.
My mic just muted out of nowhere. Sorry about that, guys. But like I was saying, I love it. I think that's so great. But yes, first come, first serve basis. So make sure you're following Vincent on Instagram. This is his Instagram. It's Carbonites_CO. That's Carbonites_co. And he's got almost 3,200 followers on there. That is a very wonderful thing to achieve. Even 1,000 or even 500 followers on Instagram is hard. So yeah, man. Let's see. I did want to go over this here. I have it in the thumbnail, so we definitely need to talk about it. But it's the Cinder Squad free case and print. This is going to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Carbonite. So Vincent's giving away a copy of his newest case, the Cinder Squad, and we got Iden Versio and some other awesome characters from Battlefront 2, a wonderful video game. You also are going to receive, I believe it's a hologram Carbonite Han.
You are bang on the money. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a hologram version of that guy. And, I'm very grateful. I'm thankful for how I've been able to grow over the past year. So many awesome creators such as yourself have covered Carbonites on their channels, and it makes that number you just mentioned very possible. Everybody's been so kind to share their audience with me. And look, here I am on your channel right now. So
yeah, buddy.
I'm really appreciative of people like Jacob and many others throughout this amazing community. And, giving back is the least I can do. And at that, it's also the season of giving, right? So
yeah, man.
To enter this giveaway, all you got to do is follow me on Instagram at Carbonites_CO. And then, tag 3 friends in the comments. You're automatically going to be entered. And we're recording this on a Thursday night. So 3 days from now on Sunday night, I'm not sure what date that actually is, but in 3 days it'll close. So make sure you go enter the giveaway. I'd love for this to be your first case of Carbonites if you don't already have one.
Definitely. Absolutely. Make sure you get those in by Sunday the 16th. And, you never know. If you enter, you can win a free case of Carbonites, which is pretty awesome. So I love it, Vincent. That's so great. And then, yes, closes on Sunday, November 16th, and the winner will be announced the next Monday, the 17th. Very, very awesome. I think a lot of people are looking forward to this, getting a ton of tags in the comments there, man. So that's really exciting to see for you. And I love Battlefront 2, so I'm going to definitely keep this on the radar. And I really like how you set up the Carbonites just like the helmets were in the video game, with the Sith Trooper to the Stormtrooper, all the way to the Scout Trooper, and then 501st, and so on. So
thank you. You can tell that I have too much fun with this. I like to just make a parody when I can, and I'm grateful that I had all the moving parts already made available to make that happen. So yeah, this is the newest case right here, Cinder Squad. There's been some good reception about it, and I was really happy to make the character on the far right. I believe I named that character the Sinister Overlord of the Space Empire (robot). It's for that in the game. That was just such a cool moment when that character appeared, and there's something about that red that just really pops. So I'm happy this one is doing well, and people seem to like it.
Fantastic. That is so awesome. Now, I guess I forgot to mention that there is a limited edition 3x5 mini poster with every order, a little free gift from Vincent. So he said it's, the season of giving, and Carbonites is going to hook you up. So don't forget to check out carbonites.company.site, where you can find a myriad of different Carbonites to choose from. And I guarantee there's going to be something for you that you're going to like.
I think what we just learned is that you can plug Carbonites better than I can. You don't miss a thing. So I got to get you on the team whenever I'm big enough to expand.
Absolutely, man. I'd be happy to do some free voiceovers for you.
You're too kind. You got the great voice to do it. So, but yeah, Jacob, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on the Hyperspace Hangout. I've really enjoyed our conversation tonight, and I really look forward to possibly doing this again, and I'm just grateful for your friendship.
Oh man, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for carving out some time. I really appreciate it. I just feel like this is our rapport building has been very natural, and I'm just very grateful for it. Like I said in the beginning, you're a really humble guy and an amazing human being. So keep up the great work. Can't wait to see what you do in the future, and you are so welcome to come back on the show anytime you'd like. We'll just let me know, and we'll rearrange it. So, maybe we'll check in sometime in like December, maybe the beginning of the year, and see how Carbonites is doing then.
That would be awesome. And hey, before we go, you've been working on something pretty cool. Would you like to plug the Black Series Most Wanted?
Yes, I would. Fantastic. Thank you so much for the reminder. Oh my gosh, this is a very exciting thing to be part of, and it's honestly for everyone. We want everyone to be a part of this. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then Vincent and I are going to head out for the night. We appreciate everyone for watching. This has been so fun, but there is a thing going on in the community for the Black Series. And what we're trying to do is get all this data together so that we can give it to Hasbro, because Hasbro does have their ear to the ground. The lead marketer, Brandon, is always taking notes and checking on the community. So all this data is going to go to him, and it's going to be our top 12 most wanted Black Series figures in the community. It can be any character you'd like from any era of Star Wars. So go to the Black Series Most Wanted Instagram page. Make sure you follow, and go ahead and hit this little link. It's a Linktree link. It'll take you to the Black Series Most Wanted Google form where you can fill out your top 12. And we're just so excited to see everyone's favorite characters that they want the most. So with that being said, make sure you're checking out Black Series Most Wanted. It's a community-wide event that we want everyone, including you, to be part of. So thank you so much for the reminder on that, Vincent. I really appreciate it, man. I know you've kind of plugged a bunch of stuff tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to plug before you go, or anything like that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Right quick before we go, the case that comes out next week is one, and I'm kind of dropping a bomb on you here, but it's called Cantina Chaos. And
Oh
this
my
case,
god.
yeah, this case right here features 6 avatars of some people in the Lego community that I have grown quite close with. And we've done collaboration cases before, but really it's just bringing one character to life. Like Blitz Transmissions, we brought his avatar to life and surrounded him with other characters that make a whole lot of sense. But
Yeah.
here, these are 6 characters that don't really make a lot of sense, all grouped together. But that is the group on Instagram. You can follow them at Cantina_Chaos, consisting of 6 amazing content creators in the Lego space. And yeah, more details on this case to come. So stay tuned. There's only going to be 50 available. So
Wow.
definitely check out Instagram if you want in on this case.
Fantastic. Get ready, guys. It's going to be a limited one. So definitely follow Carbonites again. And thank you for being such an awesome guest, Vincent. This has been a wonderful time. I hope, chat, you guys had a great day and night. And we still have 11 people watching us. So with that being said, don't forget to hit the like button. Follow Vincent. I have his links down in the description of the live stream. And yeah, we will see you next time on the Hyperspace Hangout, episode number 23. And we're definitely going to have Vincent on again in the future. So we're looking forward to that. But with that being said, let's just say bye to our chat. Yes, Stone, no worries. Catch the replay, man. Thanks for tuning in. Sci-Fi Dude says, happy Thanksgiving. Yep, we're getting into the holiday season. So happy holidays. Black Series Most Wanted. You already know.
There we
and
go.
May the Force be with you guys. We will see you next time on the Hyperspace Hangout. Have a great one.
Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, chat. See ya.